Megan. Hey,
Hey,
Dan.
how are you?
Hey, hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, Miss Megan, you want to introduce our guests?
Yes, I do. Hi to all of our subscribers and everybody who's viewing. We are sitting down with renowned horse trainer Dan Grunewald. Dan is from Jefferson, Wisconsin, and has been active in the equine industry for over 40 years. You're not older than 40, are you?
I know.
He was 2 years old when he started, Megan.
That's right.
Just 2 years old.
Yep.
Dan has won many world, national, and local championship titles for his clients. He is a well-recognized judge, carded in 9 nationally recognized horse show associations, and has the honor to judge multiple national world shows. He is also the recipient of the Wisconsin Horse Council Special Achievement Award and the WHC Judge of the Year. Whether he is showing, training, judging, or hosting a clinic, he is devoted to helping his clients and horses understand what it takes to reach their goals. Wow, Dan, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. You bet. Glad to be here. Thank you. Thanks for the honor.
That's an impressive resume.
Yes,
Thank you. Like I said, you can do, I guess you get a lot done in those, like I said, just over 40 years, right? Or 30 years or whatever it is. Goes quick.
How did you start? Like, how did you fall in love with horses? What's your story?
So I've got to, of course, say, mom and dad, that's where it all starts is mom and dad. And it goes back to like my grandma, which would be my mom's mom. She was a bareback trick rider in the circus, in the Smith Brothers Circus. And we've got some really cool photos way back then. And then my ma used to run, barrel racing and a couple of rodeos and showed horses. And then I came in the picture and she said, hey, you and your sister, my sister, we're going to be joining 4-H and join the FFA. And we got into the youth organizations, which is still is the honest to God grassroots of my foundation. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. So I thank my mom and dad for getting me to where I am today, and very blessed with the clients and the wonderful people that you meet along the way, and the colleagues just like you guys. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, you got rave reviews not long ago from a gal. We visited her farm that you know very well, Miss Jessica Cole.
Oh yeah.
Good for you recently, and had amazing things to say about the experience. Learning about was it the work and trail she's driving for, or was it a little bit more than that?
Ranch horse. It was ranch horse classes. Yeah.
So
we ventured. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, can we get into talking about that?
Yeah. So, the kind of the ranch horses that has really taken the Western world. It is really taken off. There's a lot of good excitement about that, and another option or avenue for maybe your equine riders to give it a try. And the ranch horse is a versatile horse. It has to be handy, has to be ready to go to work, and be ready for maybe that long day. And that's kind of like how we judge the horses as well. As a ranch horse should be athletic, but still correct in his maneuvers without delay. We ask for a horse to, kind of mirror that cow, or even in a ranch trail class, he should do it with precision. That rider and horse should be a team and have that wonderful relationship. But yeah, Jessica had the opportunity to come with me and scribe. And as I say, scribe, a scribe is somebody that puts down everything that I see as a judge. And same within your industry, you guys have probably scribes, and so we can constantly keep our eyes on the exhibitor and do right by that exhibitor and give them our full attention, rather than constantly looking down and looking up and looking down and looking up. We want to be fair to them and and give them the best accurate score that we can. But the training, the judging, the clinics, the lessons have been great to me. I've been very blessed in this industry, and believe it or not, I was a UPS guy for 15 years before this too.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
yes. And then I'm still the EMS director for my area, and I'm still believe in helping my community when I can. So this is great.
Do you sleep?
A lot of people ask me that. So yeah, I think that's what being a UPS guy gave me the mold to go, 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 go. So it's ventured into my business, but I enjoy keeping busy, but I think it's coming to the point where I'm trying to slow down a little bit and realize that take every breath we get it as we get it. And I've got a wonderful gal helping me now, and she's been a blessing as well. And she's got the passion, the drive, and I see everything like she had when I was younger. And I believe in investing in her, which is investing in me. And I think it's also investing in our younger generation and doing right by the equine industry. And I think there's a lot of key points to that right there in any discipline that you do, is to give back and try to invest again. Yep.
And can we take a step back? You have your own facility, correct? That you train out of?
I do.
And how did you build it? Is it family owned? Can you kind of tell us that story, and how have you evolved, because
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it's looking back already, gosh, maybe 20, 24, 25 years ago now. I had the opportunity, and I was very fortunate to have some good people rent me stalls. I was able to rent some stalls at another facility, a couple different facilities. And when you do that and you start in your career, it kind of turns into, you learn a little bit about, hey, I really like this about this facility. I might change this. But even backing up before that even came into play into the training world, I think one day when Mom took me to a horse show, I must have won a blue ribbon or got a second or third, and somebody said, "Do you give lessons?" And maybe ever since that day, I'm like, yeah, I think so, maybe. So, but it maybe from that day, it really led me into, maybe I can do this, and I can start renting stalls at my neighbor's facility. And but one stall led to 2 training horses, which led to 3 training horses, and before you knew it, and this is probably real good information for the generation that's trying to get into it, but by me showing that I had a clientele, it showed the banks believed in me. And they said, "Hey, this guy's got some customers, he's got some cash flow, he's got some business from the financial side of it." And sometimes that's a big part of it, business. It's not just, hey, can you train or can you give a lesson? That's a huge part of it. But I did. I had some great customers, and I was able to buy I got a 40-acre farm here, and but I had no stalls. There was just a little barn, just a small little barn here, and I didn't have enough money to even build a stall. But the neatest thing was the clientele believed in me, and they just wrote a check and they said, "Here, go to the the hardware store or the wood store or lumber yard," and they said, "Go ahead and build that stall for me, and then just train my horse for me." And another customer did that. They wrote another check, said, "Here, go build another stall." So once we started getting some cash flow and some showing clients and showing the general public at the horse shows that we could, bring a horse out that maybe was a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or, or senior horse and start performing well. It was honestly a domino effect. It was the snowball that started at the top of the hill and just continued to roll and it got to the point where I think I feel like I did it right. I hope I did it right, but I'm still learning. But I think when I built my first stall, I was blessed to have my dad in my life, and my dad and I would build the stall one by one, and my dad was a machinist, so everything was like a thousandth of an inch to him, because that's what a machinist does. It's like 30 thousandths off. I'm like, Dad, it's fine. It looks great. He's like, but one stall led to another stall, and then I was so proud of my first 6 stalls. I was sweeping the dirt in the aisle, sweeping it with pride, and it just gave me so much passion. I'm like, hey, if I can build that one stall, and now I got 6, and I've got my own, my own aisle. It's dirt, and then one day we were able to build, 8, 9, 10 stalls, and then 15 stalls, and then I was able to pay for that. And then I said, hey, I really need cement down the aisle, so I paid that off, and then it got bigger and bigger, and so we took the middle aisle or middle stall out, and we added a 15-foot breezeway, and added 18 more stalls over there too. So we got about 30 stalls here, and then I added 60 more feet of my indoor arena, because you feel like you're always going in a circle, and your horse is like getting really good at circles, and there's no balance. We lose their frame or lack of frame, but then we took the wall down and added onto that barn, and then built another hay barn, and built a shavings barn, and built a lean-to, and I've been very blessed. But it wasn't a family farm. It was just a property that was for sale, and I put a bid in it, and then it was like, I think back in, was it 2000? And might have been around that time, that 2006 or 7 or 8 time. It's been a while, but everything's been, knock on wood. We've got a great clientele. We've got great customers from the past and currently. I love what I do, and I want to, and I get excited about giving those lessons. And we've been getting a lot of people coming in for lessons, and might be a barrel racer, might be a Western pleasure horse, might be a ranch horse, it might be a hunt seat horse, or it might be a even dressage horse that might need a little bit of shoulder exercise, whatever it might be. But when I give back, I feel like that I'm at the point in my career where I definitely love to show yet. I enjoy showing, and but I get more excitement out of the owner or the person taking the lesson, or the client with their horse in training, that they can do the maneuver. And if I show again, that's great. I love showing. But if I don't, I feel like I'm at the point sometimes that I'm good with just holding my cup of coffee on the outside, just rooting my customer on in the arena, or helping the person, figure out the mechanics and the maneuvers within that horse and within that rider. And that's what I love right now. And I guess that's why we do a lot of clinics. And hey, we're going to the Michigan Horse Expo this weekend, doing a bunch of clinics over there too. So yeah, but it's been a good ride. It's been a real good ride, and we're definitely, as we say, we're not done yet, and we're going to continue going.
So I'm curious, what kind of moved you into deciding you wanted to judge? I feel like there's people that absolutely are ready to go in and want to judge, and then there's a few of us who are like, "Ooh, I don't know. It's a lot of responsibility."
Yeah,
can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the judging. I think once again, I find that judging a horse show, and I think there's so much specialty within the industry these days. If you want to ride the Western pleasure horse or the a reining horse or dressage horse. There's a lot of specialty, and that's okay. That's all right, because I feel like you get your finesse that way in your details. But the judging, we've been judging quite a while already, and I think it makes me a better exhibitor, and it gives me more education and resources to bring back to my clientele at the barn here, so I can share it to them. So I guess, with my facility, it's not just a training facility. It's a hey, we're giving some really good resources from a judge's point of view, and tell them that's a penalty 5, or that's penalty 3, or that's penalty 10, or that's a -1.5, or hey, break a gate, that's a penalty 2, or if you go around, you break gate in the equitation class, but so we can work on those maneuvers then, right? Because if somebody always thinks, why do I keep getting that 4th place? And it could be maybe they're under 2 strides and not picking up the correct diagonal, so maybe it's they're looking down on their on their diagonal, penalty 5. But it makes us a better horseman, or from a judge's point of view. So many good resources, and the nice thing is you can share different ideas with your fellow colleagues, and just learn some stuff that maybe we're not all sharp at everything, but we can learn about different parts of the industry. And I would love to learn more about dressage for you guys. You guys are good at what you do, and you guys are great equestrians. But it's taken me all over. And I guess my first card, once again, was the 4-H card, and then the State Horse Council card, and then I was able to get my other national cards, and we still judge a bunch of county fairs, and we love helping the kids, and we still we're judging the breed shows, and world shows and national shows and futurities, and but literally from the West Coast to the East Coast. We go to Massachusetts again this year, and we were asked to go to New York, but we were booked all 4 weekends. We were asked to go to Nebraska. We were booked all 3 weekends. So I always say, if you want to start booking for 26, that'd be great, But I enjoy every part of this industry. I truly do. And you meet so many good friends, and there's so many good points and good parts of this industry, and I think we just got to continue moving forward, give back when we can, and just help everybody along the way. I think that's the key point right there.
Mm-hmm. I love your story. It reminds me of mine. I do have a family farm, but I had to take out the loan, and I had to keep adding on, right? Like I could only afford a certain thing, and I'm still adding on. And my question is, did you have mentors along the way, right? Like coaches that helped grow you, shape you, not only in the riding, but also in the management side, in the financial side?
Yeah, that's a real good point. Yeah, so I definitely had some really good mentors. I whenever I had a question, I just had a gentleman that lived next to me, and he rode ranch horses and cutters and cow horses, and he's passed on, but Jim Marshall was his name, and just a great man. And his son is one of my great friends yet. And then but a lot of other people along the way. But it's kind of funny you say about the financial side of it. The financial side of it, I had 2 very successful business owners, and they did very, very, very well for themselves. And but I still remember, and I'm the kind of guy that just gives everything away. sometimes, and everybody's like, Dan, you're in business. You give everything away, and you're just too good-hearted sometimes. I'm like, a couple kids came in for a lesson the other day, and they brought a couple horses. I'm like, just, I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. It's on me. So they're like, no, it's okay. I'm like, nah, we'll catch you next time. They're like, okay, thank you. But this literally multi-million-dollar customer, he sent his personal accountant out to me and tried to get me financially set. Well, it's hard to change old habits. That was, some of the stuff, and it's kind of like a horse. Sometimes it's tough to train some stuff out of a horse, but I was the guy that would put a bunch of all my receipts in a shoebox and figure out, well, we'll do it at the end of the year, and that's I guess that's okay, but he really helped me and figure out like the cash flow situation, and then the P&L, the profit and loss. And he wasn't into horses. He had a very successful business. So the stuff that we learn from other people and other businesses, I think is great. And like I said, I worked at UPS, and I thought it was awesome because everything was, cost effective. It had to be a reason behind it. And I kind of like, hey, you know what? That's a really good strategy. I'm going to use some of that and bring it over. And it seemed to really work. But it's getting tougher. I think right now it's getting tough because of operation cost. As we all know, everything's kind of going up, and you've got to be really, really smart and think about where you're spending money and where you're going to save some money. Got to do a lot of researching, but it's, as you ladies know, it's not always a 9-to-5 job. I mean, I always tell people sometimes that I own it. I'm not sure if I own it. Maybe sometimes the business owns me a little bit. But overall right now we got 13 horses in training, and we're doing good that way. But we're watching the hay prices, of course. We're watching the shavings prices, where I've got a semi trailer that comes, every couple months or month and a half, something like that. And 53-foot semi backs in the barn, and, walking floor kicks it off. That's not cheap, but you got to have it, and you got to do right by the animals, and you got to do right by the business. And but overall, I think the number one thing is if you're trustworthy, you're honest with your customers, and you're good to your people. And I mean, people also, on a flip side, need to understand that, hey, you got to have your time too. And I think in today's world, we tend to get burned out. And there's definitely there's truth to that. And I think there's truth in burnout in everything maybe one person does. It doesn't have to be just the equine world. You got to think about yourself.
You get burnt out? What do you do to help yourself in burnout? Tell us, because we just talked about that, and I love hearing how to stay out of burnout.
It's so keeping yourself out of burnout is, there's only one little thing that I really do for myself. And it's probably not the best thing for me, but I go out to breakfast like every morning, and like go out to dinner almost every night. And that's my little time in the morning that I just have to have my time. Now, of course, I might take a rules book test with me, and I'll be doing my test, but I'm sitting there, and it's funny, the ladies at the restaurant, they're like, Dan's in his office, don't bother him. So they're like, you going to your office? I said, yep, I'm going to my office. But I that's kind of my little time, but I'm really, really trying to learn the word no, and it's really tough, but I'm trying as I get older. And when I hit the 50 mark, I kind of realized that, hey, I got to start thinking more about me as well. And that's why I had this gal come on, and she's doing a lot of stuff, and the customers really like her. She's great with the clientele, and she's always working, and it kind of gives me time to, hey, do stuff like this. See, this is great. Give back.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, as Megan said, we've been talking about kind of the rising costs and what that might do to our industry, as well as obviously tied in nicely to the burnout. But what, you obviously are, like you said, doing a lot of clinics, going and judging shows, going and riding, taking your clients to shows. Have you heard a whole lot of chatter at the, in the last few years about costs are rising? You mentioned the cost of hay has gone up, substantially. Obviously, shavings, as you mentioned, that's all been a significant increase in the last 5 years.
Yeah, it has.
People talking about it to you?
I think, I don't know a lot about how all that stuff works, but I think at the end of the day, we just got to be, and this goes back to what I do for myself, but like I said, I get breakfast, I get dinner, but everything I do, I continuously invest in my property. I put the money right back into the property. Now, I've got, like I said, I've worked very, very hard in a very short time. And keep in mind, when I was trying to build wealth and financial stability. So when I got to this point in my life with nothing in my pocket, and I didn't have anything. I had, mom and dad we have the family farm down the road, but graduation morning of high school, I think it was about that time, but UPS called me and they said, Dan, do you want a job? And I'm like, well, I had an opportunity to go to Oklahoma and go work for a cutting horse trainer. And he said, go to UPS. So, and that's respectful because they were very good to me. But while working at UPS, while being an EMT, while giving lessons and giving training and judging, and I was working constantly. I mean, nonstop, 7 days a week, maybe more like 10 days a week, right? That's what it is, 10 days a week. But I feel like if I didn't prepare financially for the days that we're in now, I think I'd be in trouble. And I'm okay. I'm okay. And I'm comfortable where I'm at. I believe in tangible assets, which is land. I've got another 40 acres down the road. And I live down the road from here. So, but I bought some land across the street because I didn't know who was going to buy it. And, but I made it a hayfield, of course. So, but that being said, with operation costs, it is, nobody likes when the inflation or increases, but I understand to some point why it happens. But I think I'm scared that it really is putting it's holding people back maybe from getting into it because maybe the price of the horse is so expensive, or just the commodity or the items that we invest in for our animals. But overall, I still think there's some good ways to enter this career. We gotta help people, and if you've got the passion, you can go ahead and help those people get into it and find a way, just like those clients did for me back in the day. And yeah, the operation costs are definitely different from then to now, but if I had to, and if you got the passion, I'd go back to working 3 jobs. I'd do it. I'd do it because it's been good to me, and I enjoyed it. And but I've got that heart, and you've got to have that passion. And like I said, you got to know. I guess, ladies, you got to have grit, don't you? You got to have some grit, and you got to know when you fall down, you got to get back up, or as they say, if you get bucked off, you got to get back on. Whatever way you want to say it. But it's tough out there. It is. But I think there's a lot of good opportunities yet. I think this horse industry is has a lot of good things to offer, and we just need to reach out. How we talked earlier, we got to reach out to our fellow colleagues and ask these questions. And I always invite people to call me, or, hey, if you're thinking about getting a judge's card, or, hey, come judge with me one time. I think you'll really enjoy it. And, they're like, oh yeah, I would love to, and that's where Jessica Cole, she good for her. She's got the passion to continue to learn. She came with me, and, but yeah, take advantage when there's opportunity. Go sit in that clinic, go learn more. We got the wonderful Midwest Horse Fair coming up in April. Definitely want to, go out there. And I think that's a great place to pick up some good knowledge. A lot of talented horsewomen and horse trainers, horsemen. So give that a try. Yeah, I just, I always want to learn. I always want to continue to learn. But I believe in the operation costs, though, is, I just hope it doesn't get to the point where, we start closing doors, but I don't think so. I think we'll be all right.
We've
I
been
think we'll be all right.
having some doors close in the Madison area. Now, would you ever suggest, as a colleague, would you work together in terms of like sharing a semi load, or sharing, to help with cash flow? Do you have any ideas? And you may not, because I mean, that's why we've been poking at people, is like, how as a community could we work together to help us survive this time? You think that's realistic, or any ideas there?
Yeah, I don't think I think it's always a good idea if somebody was to call, and if they were to call me, I would definitely be more than happy to help them. Now, I could only help them to as much as I, where it doesn't start affecting, of course, my end. But sometimes it could be just a little bit of hey, I just need to talk to somebody. Or like you said, hey, we're getting 1,000 small squares of hay, and if you want 500 of them, I'd be like, yeah, I'll, just tell me a little bit more about the hay. But I'd be willing to do something like that, or the shavings. I think that's the key as well. And but the business side of it right now is, you're right, it's kind of tricky. And if you just got to watch what you spend. I still remember as a kid, and I think this might make sense to you, ladies, that if you wanted something, mom would have like 5 or 6 envelopes, just little stamped envelopes, and she'd put $1 in each, but she'd write on top of the envelope what it was, that we wanted a saddle pad. So we write saddle pad on that envelope, and we wanted a head stall, and we couldn't afford that stuff. And then we wanted a saddle. So those 5 different envelopes, we were able to put money into them, but we never, I can't say never, but we we believed in, if you don't have the money for it, you don't buy it. And I still do that still to this day. Now, of course, you got to have the mortgage, but a lot of the stuff, if I feel like it's going to get me in trouble, I don't do it. And I've always been that way. I always want to make very sure that I am maybe have 80% of that purchase price before I buy that item. If it's if it's my tractor or big square baler or small square baler, or my tedder or my discbine or whatever the other tractors, nope, we don't buy it. We just keep using the old equipment, and there's nothing wrong with that old equipment. And I think sometimes we want more, and I think, in my opinion, my life, I don't know if more always gets you more. Sometimes more gets you in trouble too. But in my life, I've just believed in, it's okay. We just kept fixing that Alice Chalmers tractor, and kept fixing the little bar rake until I could have the money to buy one of them nice rotary rakes. And I'm okay with that. So I think we just got to be real smart with our money. But I enjoy kind of being an equine consultant, or for the industry, and just tell them what really worked for me, but what didn't work as well. But yeah, it's just keep pushing along and keep asking questions. There's still, this industry is just, it's awesome. I love it. I enjoy it. I get to meet so many people, and I want to continue moving forward and helping others like this, and helping my wonderful horse, the horses.
Yeah, exactly. And at your facility, obviously you take horses in training just for the horse. You also take horses in training for the horse and rider. Do you have school horses? Do you board horses? So what are your services that you offer?
Yeah. So yeah, we just started not too long ago, maybe about a month ago. We just started posting on the Facebook that we're going to start doing lessons. So we have a lesson program, and I looked out at those 4 horses, and I'm like, okay, you 4, you guys have been eating hay and living at home for free, and you're going to pay rent now. So, and these are really nice horses. A couple of them are multi-world champion horses. And they just retired, and and some are pretty young yet. And just because, as you know, as a horse trainer, you never get to ride your own. You're always riding everybody else's, and that's okay. But so we put those 4 into the lesson program. So we're doing that. That's been a big response, and that's really neat. And that's where I enjoy those lessons, when people come over, and it could be with their, hunt seat horse or the Western horse. Because at the end of the day, I just told somebody, and she rides hunt seat. I said, that's fine. I said, horsemanship's horsemanship. I said, I pick up the shoulder the same way you pick up the shoulder. I move the rib cage same way you move the rib cage. Lateral. Collection. We want impulsion. You guys want impulsion. But and then it turned, like I said, then yeah, the training horses. That's been big. So I always get worried, around November, December, or October, November. I guess probably October. And my wonderful girlfriend Dawn, she says, it's funny. She always said, I said, well, boy, I don't have any horses in stalls. And she's like, Dan, I've been with you for years, and you always fill up, so you'll be fine. And she's right. We always fill up. So, but yeah, the lessons, the training, and I should probably do more clinics here. Everybody asks me, they're like, why don't you do clinics at your facility? Because I'm always getting hired outside my facility, so I'm never home that way. But yeah, I've got definitely a facility that can offer stuff like that. The indoors heated, and our barns are heated, and so it's been good. It's been good, yeah. So and I always got my pager on me in case in case we get a call. Let's see, I got it on. Hold on. Yep, I got it right here. I got it. So just in case. Yep. There's been times when I've loped that horse all the way back to the barn because there's been a call. Oh yeah, it's pretty funny. So it's like the EMT on a horse. I'm coming. I'm going to save you. Hold on. So, but
Thank God we need you.
yeah, it's good information. So I definitely encourage everybody go join their fire department EMS as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, so you have to remember, I'm a dressage rider, and I am looking to expand my knowledge. So thank you for being here. What do you do in the Western riding? Like, is it reining? Is it ranch versatility? Is it Western pleasure? Or do you do all of those disciplines? And what's the difference? Why?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I do the Western pleasure horses. We do the mostly ranch horse now. I grew up in the Western pleasure world, so we did a lot of that. But yeah, I still got some Western pleasure horses in. We've got some ranch horses in. We've got some horses that we're teaching the lead changes, which is in our world the class is called Western riding, which is you're doing 7 to 8 lead changes every 30 to 50 feet. So it's a pretty neat class. We've got a couple horses that we've won some world championships on that. But the difference between the Western world and the dressage world, I'll be honest, I don't think there's anything real different as far as the maneuvers that you guys are using than we're using. I think that you want suppleness, you want softness, you want collection, you want the shoulders lifted, the rib cage lifted, you want, like I said, impulsion. If you guys do you might call it a little different. I call it, counter arc turns, shoulder out, shoulder in, haunches in, haunches out. I think I just gave a lesson this morning on a ranch horse, and I said, and I really believe this, and it's like when I hit 50, it's like everything started even making more sense to me, and I believe we as trainers and we as horsemen and horsewomen, we have to start looking through our eyes and not through the horses, or start looking through the horse's eyes and not through our eyes. Listen to what that horse is telling you. There's a lot of times maybe we're going too fast, but then maybe you have a scholar student, and maybe you can ask a little bit more. But there's always that line in the sand that it comes with years of feel and years of timing that sometimes more can be less, but I think less is more. So just know what kind of maneuver you're doing. But I just said this morning, we're working on transitions, and it's no different. It's no different than in your industry, that if you should not, if that horse is not in the correct frame, we should not be asking for the maneuver, because you're taking the horse into a maneuver that maybe he's hollow through his back, his hocks are behind him, maybe he is dropping the shoulder. So we were talking this morning in the lesson that if we take that horse into that lope departure or canter departure or lead change, and if everything isn't lined up, we've created that maneuver to be not how we want to progress. Now, I am not saying that my horses should give me A pluses every day. I don't believe that because I was not that kid in school. But I believe in if the horse tried, I'm good with that. I'm really good with that. And I tell my assistant and I tell people that the number one cue in our barn is the praise of my hand. And the praise of my hand is that reassurance of that horse that he did right. And I had a gentleman that was a mentor of mine, and this is just something I do, but he saw me patting the horse once, how he kind of, good boy, good job. He said, don't do that again. I said, what'd I do? He says, when that horse was born, the mother licked the foal, didn't pat it. He licked the foal. So I praised him. He didn't pat. I said, boy, that's really good. That's really good. I've been doing that for years, praising now. And I love passing that little tip on right there. Because he's right. He's right, But there's not, I think we still, with the dressage and with the Western world and how I judge as well, and how I train, is we ask for correctness first of the maneuver. And it doesn't matter what seat we ride. And then we ask for quality of the maneuver. That means, does the horse have cadence? Does the horse have self-carriage? Does the horse have good frame? Good expression? Boy, there's a good one, right? Good expression. And then we ask ourselves, the third element is the degree of difficulty, which is if the horse is correct and the horse has cadence, the quality of the maneuver, the degree of difficulty is depending on what you're doing, how slow the horse can go or how fast the horse can go. So depending if you're riding a ranch horse or if you're riding a Western pleasure horse or a dressage horse, because if the maneuver's not correct and it lacks quality, we don't care about the speed. And I think sometimes it gets flipped around where people want to do, they want to go fast or they want to go really slow before they have the maneuver correct. So I don't think there's too much difference as far as how we maybe do maneuvers sometimes, or what we're trying to aim for in the, your industry or ours. But it might be, of course, our timing or the student, the horse that we're working. Because if there's 30 kids in a classroom, they're all going to learn different, right? And I think a good horsewoman or horseman has to realize that, hey, this one needs a little bit more time, and that's okay with me. I'm patient. It still goes back to the day when that math teacher in school, I just struggled in math, and we tried 3-4 different teachers, and I got frustrated. I just shut down, and I still think about that, 30 years ago, that I take that into my horse training now, that when the horse shuts down, maybe I need to train this one in increments. And by training the horse in little steps, that math teacher finally got a good math teacher that said, Dan, we're just gonna work 5 minutes and we're gonna talk a little bit about, this math problem. And then he never let me get mad. He never let me get upset. But once we worked a little bit, 5-10 minutes, he said, just, hey, go take a break, walk out in the hallway, take a break. That's what I'll do with my horses too. And then, so instead of riding for an hour, we just ride, 10 minutes, give them a little break, come back 10 minutes, little break, and say, hey, that's good enough today. So, yeah, it's a little bit about everything in the training world of Dan's life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't want to necessarily totally pivot, but
that's okay. Yeah.
You mentioned, your judging experience, and you've had so much. You're carded in 7 places, 9 places.
Yep, like 9. Yep, something like that.
So,
yep.
Let's talk about the young people in the industry, and let's say there's a young person who's upcoming, who's probably going to become a horse trainer. and they're kind of interested in judging. What is your recommendation for them to, where do they start? Where should they get their foot in the door, and where should they go to start learning that process?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think, whenever you see an association that's offering a class, or an applicant class, or maybe not even an applicant, if you're going to get your judge's card, maybe just to audit and to sit in the back of the room and just listen, or if they let you ask questions, that's great, but maybe sometimes it's just an audit because it's just closed for judges. But I've got to say, once again, the Wisconsin Horse Council has been great to me. Matter of fact, we have a judges seminar April 5th in Stevens Point, and we have opened it up for the youth kids, and that is a great way for them to get an idea if they ever want to travel down that road, and then also talk to those, maybe us that are carded, and just help them or mentor them, I guess. But yeah, it's that's a great association to start right there. There's also other associations in the country that are doing great with their youth. But yeah, reach out to your a fellow judge, and it doesn't matter if it's in the dressage world or the Western world. There's a lot of good associations that, and to be honest, I really would love to come and sit in one of your associations and just sit back and just learn some more stuff, and because that's probably maybe my little weaker side of it. But I'm telling you right now, live, that I'm always willing to learn, and always willing to take that information back into my barn, and share it with my customers and friends and so forth. But the Horse Council is probably a good place to start if you're looking to get your judge's card.
Well,
Yep.
in later this year, I'll be actually hosting USDF instructors. We used to call them workshops. I think they're called seminars now.
Sure,
And
sure.
I'll send you the dates. I'm sure you're very
Please.
busy, but you are more than
Um,
welcome to come. We would love to have you.
That'd be awesome. I'd like that. When's that? That's later in the year?
Well, I just sent my dates to the instructors on the weekends that I'm available to host. So I don't have the dates solid, but when I do,
Okay.
I will send them to you, and I would
Yeah.
love to have you
Yeah.
come. It would be amazing. And then anytime you want to collaborate, because honestly, as uncomfortable as I would be getting on a Western horse and a Western saddle, because my
Yeah.
uncle has a ranch in Northern California, and the Western saddle scares me a little bit.
That's
It's
what I say about the English saddle. I mean, where's
yeah.
the horn?
I'm like, oh my God, I don't. Well, I had a horse go up and go over backwards on me, and
Mm,
the horn
yeah.
caught me, and I was like, nope.
Oh yeah.
So I've never gotten back in the saddle, but I would love to do the flag, and then also reining, feeling a spin, and
Oh yeah.
what is it where you guys kind of skid out? What is that called?
Oh, the rain and slide, the stop.
Yeah, I
Yep,
would
the
love to
slide.
feel that. So if you ever want to come and trade, I'd be happy to like get you on my Grand Prix dressage horse, and then
Yeah.
I want to ride a Western horse. I think I need to
Mhm.
face my fear a little bit on that Western saddle.
Yeah, we could definitely help each other. That'd be a podcast in itself right there, wouldn't it?
I know that would be so. But see, this is what we're all about. Is like
Yeah.
I feel from actually a dressage person's attitude that I've always felt excluded from Western, and people have always put me down as a dressage person, and I was like, I think we want the same thing, an
We
obedient,
do.
harmonious partnership. I love the boots, and I always wanted to barrel race actually and have the buckle, but I got started in dressage. That was the trainer down the road, and I'm thankful for that. And I've met a lot of great people, but I feel like our industries need to work together instead of
Very,
separate
yeah.
each other. Like, I think we have a lot to learn. Like, our terminology is different, but I think we got a lot to learn from each other, and we're all talking the same talk.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, because we all love the horse
That's it.
and we love helping. But and that might be, might be something like you said, and this is the reason. There's a reason why we're talking today, all of
Yeah.
us, and this is maybe the start of something just wonderful. And I think um, we should come together and have, just if there's a little bit different that we do, but of course, the maneuvers, if it's a reining horse or if it's a dressage horse, yeah, they're different patterns, but some of the maneuvers are,
Same.
or the same. The brokenness or the trainability of that animal it has to be correct once again,
Yeah.
but that'd be really neat to put together like that sometime.
Well,
Yep.
if the opportunity comes about, my phone number, give me a
Yeah, yeah,
call. But
that'd be good.
my next question is about what advice would you give to the upcoming professional, right? Like we talked about, the university, those kids watching this YouTube channel. What advice would you give them if they're thinking about starting being a horse professional in any discipline or profession?
Um, if you really got the passion, you really got the drive, and you want to get in this career, I think there's a lot of apprenticeships or internships that are valuable yet. Um, Go find that person or go find that discipline that you want to get into, and it might not just be in the horse training. It might be, hey, I want to be a farrier, I want to be a vet, or I want to be a nutritionist or whatever it might be. I think that all them careers are very important and valuable to our industry, and there's a lot of very good knowledgeable people out there that we can gather information from. But um, when you're young like that, um, yeah, we all gotta still work and make money and this and that when we're young, because mom and dad told us we had to get a job. But if you can find the time on a weekend and, hey, come judge with me, you'd be more than welcome to. Come over, and we get people that just come over and we'll put a chair in the arena and they just want to watch for a couple hours. I'm like, yeah, come on over, not a problem. Because somebody did that for me, or many people did that for me, and I want to give that back. Um, and I think that has been such a great thing, because the kids that I helped way back when I started are moms and dads now, and their kids are coming back to me again. And I think that really says something about how I was raised, and that I care about people, not only being in the EMS, but it's my way and giving back. And my life took off, and just was going 100 miles an hour, and just I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I accomplished this. I accomplished this. I'm going to continue to keep going, keep going, keep going. And before you know it, I'm like, oh my God, I'm 50 years old. As a Kenny Chesney song says, don't blink. I think there's a lot of truth to that too, though. So don't forget, take care of yourself as well. But I so heartily love, giving back and helping the kids and helping the youth, and that's been good, and we're going to continue to always do that, and because it's worked. and they remember when I helped them, and we're still doing county 4-H clinics, and it might be, it might be just, how to get your horse to steer, something like that, or how to stop, and that's fine, because I was there. So, but the sooner they learn, and I always joke around with my assistant trainer and some of the older kids. I call them kids, they're like 19, 20. And I always say, hey, the sooner you learn, the sooner I can retire. So I'm thinking Friday. So we got a lot to learn today. So listen up. So, but yeah, it's good. It's really good. We got the Michigan Horse Expo, like I said, this weekend, and we got like 4 or 5 different talks we're doing. And there was like 24 people that signed up for the different sessions, and we're excited about that, and meeting with them folks, and a lot of good people. A lot of that state has been just wonderful to me through the years as well. And but I encourage you to find that mentor and find that person. If you see them at the horse show, or if you see her at the horse show in the dressage arena and you're watching, don't be afraid to go up and talk to that person. Go talk to them and say, hey, do you give lessons, or, can you tell me your horse's name? And just start a conversation with them. And still to this day, when I'm riding at a horse show, and if I see somebody struggling, of course I'll ask. I'll be like, hey, you want me to show you something real quick to kind of help you along with that? Most people are like, yeah, I'd love to learn something. And then, that turns into another thing. They're like, do you give lessons? Yeah, just come on over and we'll help you out, because you don't want to see them hurt if it's a safety situation. I think as equine professionals, we need to make sure that we keep our youth safe, and even, our fellow colleagues. It might not even be a youth. It just might be somebody else that, like you two, might be like, hey, Dan, inside rein. I'm like, oh my God, I'm riding in the English saddle. Oh no, hang on. But yeah, we have a good time. We have a lot of fun. But if I come over, I'm not getting in breeches. That probably won't work.
You're in luck. I don't want to see you in breeches.
Good. Halloween, I'll dress up.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Megan says no. No, I actually prefer cowboy hat and jeans and boots. So
no, there you go. Perfect.
That's a great uniform. But
I like that.
I hate to warn you, when I come over, I'm gonna be wearing my tall boots because that's my uniform. So I'm gonna look real funny in your Western saddle.
That's all good. That's all good. Well, we won't worry about the details, right?
Thank you. Thank you. It's just a uniform. That's all it is. Well,
that's right.
I can't thank you enough for all of your time. And I think one last question. What's
Sure.
the future? What is your vision? Because you're the man that never slows down, and you're always focused
go.
on the next thing to improve and grow and develop. So where are you going to grow and develop?
I think I'm at the point in my career where I don't know, I would love to find someone that maybe one day, I don't know if it's sooner or later, but I'd like to find that one person that where, of course I can, spend more time with my girlfriend and more time with the days with my mom. And I help her a lot yet. And that's another thing I didn't even mention. I'm, running back and forth, taking care of their farm because mom still has 4 horses up there and doing chores. But I, and maybe you all know, you probably do know, but March of 2024, I was hurt. And I got hurt pretty good by a horse. And I never thought it in the 30 plus years that I'd be in a situation like that. But and I still don't understand how it happened or why it happened. But I think the good Lord said, Dan, you need to slow down. But I'm going to give you this great girl that's helping me in it. And you ladies know it's hard to find people that have the grit and the passion I don't know where she came from, but she's amazing. And if she was, I should have told her to say hi quick. But she's great. She's good with the customers, great with helping my mom if we needed to run up to that farm. But there's definitely a reason why she came along. And it's time for maybe me to start thinking. Now, I've already started thinking about it. I'm not quitting training at all, but there might be a day when I say, hey, I'm going to rent this facility out to a up and coming trainer like I like somebody did for me back in the day. But as of right now, we're going to continue to train horses. And then I'm going to continue to invest my time in a Maddie and help her get better, and do my part of the industry. Continue judging, training, training horses, saving lives, EMT, and always trying to give back whenever I can. And then trying to maybe even spend a week and just go away and just go away and just not even, yeah.
Without guilt. Do it, Dan. Do it.
I think you're right. There's been a lot of people. I got some good girls at work here, and they're like, Dan, you and Dawn just need to go. Enjoy it. Just go. And we can go. Yeah, we can. But I think about my mom, of course. And but I've got to find some peace within my life. But I really believe that accident happened for a reason, because I just it hit reality. And I've got to understand that it's okay to say no, and it's okay to slow down. But it's tough, isn't it? It's tough.
It's so hard. The death of my father really did two parts, right? Made me this like crazy little squirrel, like I'm going to die. I got to get all the things in. And then I was injured 2 years ago, and I was like, wow, what's going to like quality of life? What's most important to me, and prioritizing. So I've gone down the rabbit hole and really been selective, and I'm proud of you, Dan. Thank you for sharing that. Like, that's a hard thing for us to talk about as trainers. And really, thank you for sharing that for others to watch. And also,
you're welcome.
It's okay to take a day off. You help so many people. When do you get to take care of yourself? It's your turn. Don't feel guilty.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. And I've got to. I have to do it. You're right. So,
yeah.
But
and as a community, we need to support each other. I can't thank you enough for coming on here. You actually have motivated me and made me feel really inspired with your energy and outlook on life. Because like I'm in a burnt out phase, right? And it's really good to focus on all the great things around you. And I got a lot of great things around me as well. And but I love how we're coming together as a community. So I can't thank you enough. Steph?
Yeah, I echo everything Megan says. This has been great. It's been great. And not to loop back too much, you two, but I see you two doing something next year at Horse Fair. Little horse swap demonstration where Megan's got a Grand Prix horse. You've got a Western Pleasure or maybe Reigning, whatever you can bring. And you two change horses, and Megan,
I would love that opportunity.
Megan will give you a little lesson, and then you'll give her a little lesson, and the crowd will be sitting there with their jaws on the ground. I think that would be so much fun.
Can we have more lessons than Midwest Horse Fair?
Yeah, right.
You might have to practice ahead of time, but maybe not. I mean,
maybe not.
It's kind of fun to just, swap horses. A lot of the horse shows and the equitations, the kids got to, the collegiate level, the kids got to swap horses, get on and ride.
Yeah.
Yep. Intercollegiate deal, NITA. Yep. And all them, NCAA. But, I thank you ladies for all what you do. Thank you for helping this industry. This is fantastic. You're giving back, and I think it's wonderful that people can reach out to you, ladies, and continue to go on these podcasts and just continue to educate. So you guys are doing great, and it's an honor to call you my friends. And I hope we can all, like I said, ride together. If nothing else, let's go have a cup of coffee and just talk some. Exactly. Go talk some. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Yep.
It's a heart. It's trying to be a heart.
That's right. Yeah. But thanks for babysitting me with getting this technology. This is kind of pretty neat because I'm like, I can saddle a horse, but this is neat.
Well, we can do this again if you ever have time, but I have a feeling that you're strapped for time.
Yeah.
But if this gets you to sit down for an hour, that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Maybe one day we can come for a barn tour. And we'll
Yeah.
That'd be great.
This summer, I'll harass you in a couple of months and we'll get together.
Beautiful.
Fun.
Have
Super
a wonderful
fun.
evening.
Thank you. You bet.
Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Have a great night.
And
You're very welcome.
Hit the leave button at the bottom of the screen.
At the leave button. Oh, thank you. See, you're helping me again. This is a good lesson. All right. Bye-bye. Have a good evening.
Bye, Dan.
Thank you, everyone watching. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
That was awesome. I loved it so much. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
What a great guy. His energy, Megan, is amazing. I don't know how he does it. Never taking a break. I think he's like one of those a body in motion and that stays in motion. It's amazing amount of energy. Every weekend is doing something different. So Minnesota Horse Expo, obviously we talked about Midwest Horse Fairs coming up in April. So, soon, but not too super soon. I still see him on. We still see you, Dan. I see his hat. He hasn't figured out how to leave just yet, but that's okay.
Well, that's okay.
That was great.
He was amazing. He had a hard time getting on, and he took the time to do it. And I'm so appreciative.
Amazing stories and a lot of good information, especially for the young generation trying to figure out how to start in this, equine profession, because it can be overwhelming. Where do you go? Where do you go to start? So, where do you go to become a horse trainer? Where do you go to become a judge? What do you do?
And it shows that people in the magazines, or maybe that got the blue ribbon, that are older, want to give back to the sport. So find the individual that you look up to and that you admire. Make sure they have those qualities and are able to communicate. And as Dan said, just reach out. We want to give back.
Yeah. I could have asked him a million questions about so many different things. He's just done a lot in his career, and he's a fascinating guy. It's so nice. And he's an EMT. I love that. I bet he's got stories right there. It reminded me right back to when we talked to firefighter Andy,
Yeah. I think awesome. We'll be doing a barn tour, and we'll go out for a cup of coffee, not on his time, but after his time. And then we'll get a tour. I can't wait to see the barn, because to me, that just so resonated with me as I started. I took out a small loan, started the barn, kept adding on. And I was like, it's just a labor
I started
of
this
love.
farm. And we didn't have any stalls. We had, I bought a bunch of pre-made, kind of portable sheds, and they lived outside 24/7. And then I had to figure out what my mares were going to foal in the next year. And we had a little shed, and we put 2 foaling stalls in it. And that's what I had for a long time. That was it. And then, moved along and decided to build a barn. And, just getting that put up was an effort. And let alone, finishing it out. And 4 stalls is all I could afford it to begin with to put in. And, and a couple of years later did, 5 more. And that's what you do.
Yeah. Great.
Didn't have an arena, just like, he's talking about. You just, what's the next step? What do you need? And how much money do you have to put down, and what do you need to go to the bank for? So, we always get back to my favorite topic, which is accounting.
I know. Yeah. And he shared
it's important.
We all have this similar story, yet individual. So
he had I thought really good advice on that, as far as, do you really need it? And what kind of return are you going to get on that investment? And, there's a lot of times where you sit down and go, I don't really need it yet because it's just that little bit out of reach,
Yep.
So that was pretty awesome. So thankful. So before we go, how are you guys doing out in, Southern California? Everything going good? Weather been okay? No more fires?
Everything's going really well. The sun is shining. It rained a little bit over the weekend. I have exciting news, which everybody knows. I made a post. We went to Monty Roberts' farm. Well, actually, I take that back. So we went to the farm that Monty Roberts developed, and now his daughter Debbie has purchased. It's I may get the name wrong. I apologize in advance, but it's the Monty Roberts Learning Center in San Ynez Valley. Absolutely beautiful. And I have to say, Steph, I'm so grateful to Barn Besties because otherwise I never would have gone to his farm. I never would have called him up and said, hey, can I come out? And it was probably one of the most special days in my life.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I wish I could have been there.
Yeah, it was just an amazing man and family. The whole family is absolutely wonderful. If you ever get a chance to meet them, do it. They opened their door to us. They spent a whole day with us. They invited us to their house.
Wow.
I actually felt guilty by the end. I was like, oh my God, we have to leave. And just to be able to, we sat down for 2 hours and he just told story after story that was so amazing. And he really is the real deal. He's a very special human being, and not only in the horse industry. So what he's learned about horses, he now takes to at-risk children. And then for the last 25 years, I didn't know this, but they have a whole program for veterans with PTSD, any issues that they have. They are welcome to come out to the farm and they learn join up and with the horses. But not only that, it helps them personally. And it just takes a special human to develop something like that. And then another piece of information I didn't know about him, they have him and his beautiful, talented wife have fostered 47 children.
Wow.
Yeah, I just was very motivated, encouraged, and felt like I need to be a better human.
Yeah, that's amazing. What an amazing contribution, not only on the animal level, but the human level. What a guy. Yeah. I am really jealous. I would have loved to have met him. And I hope I get a chance maybe next winter to come out and visit. Yeah, he's really a special person. Sounds like his whole family is amazing.
Yeah.
I look forward to the videos. I do.
Yes. You got a lot of work to do. Poor Steffi. I plugged in that little black thing, whatever that thing is, and there is, should I say how many videos are on there?
Sure. Some of them we've seen.
Yeah. But there's like 314 videos. I still have like 23 days left of videoing to get rolling. So there's a lot of footage for you. Thank you.
It's good stuff. You think we'll have videos well into winter of this year?
Yeah. So that'll be really fun. I'm excited about that. So yeah, that's the scoop. What about you? What's happening?
It was nice out today. We're supposed to have reasonably warm weather. It's currently 43. I think when I was driving home, it was in the low 50s. I will take that any day in early March. But yeah, got a little something coming up tomorrow, and get a little my tire rotated here. Yeah, might be able to actually see you out of this in a day.
I'm looking forward to hearing how it goes.
Yeah, I might try to vlog some of that.
Yeah, you should. Why not?
On my Opinionated Horsewoman channel. And so I'm looking forward to it. I've been ready for a while, as you know.
Yes, I know.
I would have been there a long time ago if they would have had room for it. I'd have shown right up. So looking forward to that. But yeah, no, spring is coming. I'm all ready for green grass, the early flowers that come up. We tapped the sugar maples yesterday to start getting, you know, some good stuff going to make some maple syrup, right?
Cool. I'm excited.
Yeah. You only do it for, a couple of days. You can't take it all out of the tree. So nice warm day. So the, stuff is flowing and yeah. So that to me is a good sign of spring right there. So the birds are coming back.
That's awesome. And what do we have for live streams? I don't know. Tick never confirmed for the 6th. So
but we've got working equitation.
Next
and
Wednesday.
we have and then we have a live with Saddle Maker, who not only does he build saddles, but he has his own line of leather care. So that's exciting. And he's, I believe, out of Canada. Is that correct? Yeah. So looking forward to that. Christian, right?
Christian. Yep.
Yeah. So we're trying to, tie down a little bit more, but you're going to be in the car and live streaming a little bit while doing shorts and stuff, right? For us on your trip back. I'm looking forward to that. The adventures of Mr. Cameraman and Megan.
I'm excited. I am actually looking forward to coming home. It'll be nice because the natives get a little restless. So it'll be nice to get back in order and get back.
Got to get ready for Midwest Horse Fair, as Dan was discussing. So there is that coming up in April.
Midwest Horse Fair. That should be a lot of fun. We'll be there at the booth. My horse AJ will be there. I'll be riding him, I think, in 3 events. We have 2 demos and then a third, like it's a 30-minute. I'm not exactly sure what it's about. Maybe we're showing what dressage movements are. Either way, we'll show up. We got 3 rides, and then hopefully people can visit us at the Lindenhof booth. We'll be at the booth in Pavilion 1. So
okay,
that's
exciting. And they can meet Mr. Cameraman, and they can meet Miss Megan and Mumsy and moi and moi. That's exciting.
We'll be there. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's great. And that is the 3rd weekend in April in Madison, Wisconsin.
Let me look. Is it? Yeah.
It's always the 3rd weekend in April, isn't it?
No, it's the 2nd weekend.
Okay. Did they have to move it because of Easter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it starts we move in on the 10th.
Starts the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Yeah.
Yep. So
I can't tell you when the last time was that it wasn't the 3rd weekend in April. It's always that. But Easter, they'll bump it for Easter. So that makes sense. But that's coming up in 5 weeks.
Wow. 5 weeks.
It's exciting.
Well,
maybe 6. Maybe it's 6, but
I'm excited. It'll be fun. We'll have a good time.
Yeah. So our next live stream, where's my calendar here? Oops, I bumped it in to look for the horse fair. So we have the 12th. Is that correct? Is that our work in equitation?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. So, anything else you got going on? I'm excited you got to go get a bit of a tour with Shannon Peters, and then you've met Monty Roberts. That's fantastic. So it's exciting. Looking forward to the videos, but thanks everybody on the live. We don't have to keep everybody, but it was good hearing from you, Megan, and making sure everything's going well out there.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
So have a good night, people. We'll see you on our next video. Bye, everybody.
Bye.